This week featuring
Wake up, wake up.
Can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Make it strong, please. Hey! Oh! Hey!
Wake up, wake up.
Oh! No, really, can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up.
I think. What about more than a me?
Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, March 17th. It is St. Patrick's Day. Did you wear green?
Shit. No, yes, no.
I remembered last night that it was St. Patrick's Day, and I remembered that I was gifted this beautiful green shirt. One of our viewers stopped into the Red Inn one day and gifted me and Bob these shirts that say homosexuality can change the world.
I love it.
Save the world.
Can save the world.
But since then, it seems like we've moved into a space where we need to save our own world before we save the rest of it.
Put on your own gay mask first.
Yeah. But happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something green last night as I was going to sleep, and I did not have anything, and this morning I totally flaked.
No, that's okay.
But I think it is just I have purged the drunk Irish lesbian I used to be out of my life and wardrobe, because I was like, this is crazy, I don't have something green, but it's called growth.
I'll always have my red beard, so...
Very nice, very gingerly.
Yeah.
I'll always have my latent alcoholism, so...
Same girl.
I'm Irish through and through.
Oh, right. If you didn't notice, Bob's not here.
Oh, yeah!
Bob is in Palm Springs this week. He's at the Indian Wells tennis tournament. Bob loves tennis, and he is down there having a ball. We miss Bob so much. We have a few of our staff members out. Andrew Haig is out enjoying the world. Ethan is out enjoying the world. But we still got Ethan on camera this week. He's usually behind our camera, but we stopped by the Summer of SASS house to have an interview with Ethan, which was so much fun, so we're going to show you that later. We also have Qya Cristál coming in to sing for you, the legend herself. And also chat, because it's her birthday today.
I love it.
Yeah. How was your week?
My week was great.
Good.
Are we gonna? Was it like 2 years ago where we ended up day drinking immediately after the show? Was it because it was Qya's birthday then too?
I don't no, because you were dressed as Sandy, and I don't think you were dressed as Sandy in March.
Oh, right.
You could dress as Sandy in March.
I'm just throwing out ideas for reasons for us to start drinking immediately after the show.
No, the first time Kristen came on the show, she was Sandy Claus, and we immediately just sat down at a table outside and started drinking beer at 10 in the morning.
And took some incredible photos.
Yeah, it was a fun day.
Yeah.
That was kind of the first time we got to hang out.
Yeah. And look at us now.
I know, besties.
Bonded.
So what'd you get up to this week?
I got a new phone, and
Work.
it has absorbed my life.
Oh.
And I didn't realize I was going to be that person, but I got the 14 Pro Max, like a bougie lesbian, and I have to tell you that I've just been taking photos of everything. So what have I done this week? My dog, the sunset, the horses, myself, my girlfriend, everything.
Cute.
That has been the most of my week, and the SASS stuff. Being at the SASS house.
What are you upgrading from?
In 11.
Okay.
So like a
not too
3-year
bad.
jump. Not
Yeah.
too bad, but this is mind-blowing.
I always find that when I get a new phone, I'm so excited for it. And then you open it, you rip all the plastic off, you set it up, and then you're like, oh, it's exactly the same.
I did have that moment where I was like reserved a few hours to get into my new phone, right? I was like, oh, tonight I'm gonna get into my new phone. And then they were like, everything's there from the cloud, it's all there. And I was like, no, I was supposed to selectively choose what I was bringing into my future.
No.
And you fucking made me bring some photos I don't want.
Yeah, every contact from 2011 still in there.
I don't need it. I don't need it. So I appreciate the
It's
help,
weird how
but-
many people's names, how many contacts in my phone are all from the same family, the Grindr family. Because I always put their last name as Grindr if I met them on Grindr. So the big Grindr family on my phone.
I would expect you'd have to go into Grindr 1, Grindr 2. Like, there's got to be at least more than one
It's
Matt.
like Mark Grindr, Matt Grindr.
Oh, I would expect Grindr to be full of Marks and Matts.
I don't
know why.
I mean, I don't sleep with a lot of like Marks, Matts,
Oh,
Tims,
sorry.
Chris's.
Wow, really? Who do you go for?
Just different other names. No Connors.
Are you a Chad guy?
No.
Could you imagine if that was your secret?
I only sleep with guys named Chad.
Named Chad.
And Connor. No.
From Connecticut.
You went to an open mic last night, though, right?
So that is what I've been up to this week. The Underground is now hosting open mic night. Matt Berry, you know Matt Berry?
Yeah.
And Katie Ledoux got together and they were like, let's do an open mic Thursday. And it has been one of my favorite hangs the last 2 weeks.
Cute.
Starts at 7, is done by like 10, so it's like an early chill night. Comedy, music, poetry, some people singing, some people just playing instruments.
That sounds awesome.
So we brought a sketch that we had scripted and just read it on book last night. It's just
cool.
a fun, like, it's very casual, low stakes, but real good time. And cold brew drinks that will blow your mind.
Work.
They came up with a whole menu for fun cold brew drinks for the off season.
Yeah, there are new owners at the Underground, or new management.
New owners.
management.
New owners.
No.
No?
We're getting a head shake. No. New management. We'll go new management. And we have that new management on the show next week, so we'll get to the bottom of it next week.
Yeah, let's find out because, damn.
Yeah, we'll figure it out for next week.
No one ever wants to see ladies succeed around here. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, we do. I got up to some fun stuff. So after the show last Friday, I worked at the brewery, went to the gym, and then I watched Drag Race with some friends, and then I went over to watch Qya Cristál sing at the piano bar with Andrew Sharanian on piano, and then we scooted on over to the Bear Party at the Wave Bar, which was so much fun. I like Out of Hibernation in comparison to Bear Week in the Summer. Bear Week in the Summer is a ton of fun, but Bear Week in the Summer just feels like circuit week with chest hair.
It is definitely sweaty bears.
Right, but it's more of like, in the Out of Hibernation, it's like bears, like real bears. Like the bear movement was started for a reason, and it was to like expand the idea of what is sexy, because they found that like it was a really rigid idea of what was sexy. It was because it's kind of, I feel like the bear movement started in the 80s and 90s when like everyone was hairless and ripped and muscly and six packs, and they were like, well, we're gonna start this other thing where we celebrate our different bodies. And now I feel like Summer Bear Week is just like, it's just like the ripped, the six packs, they're like, I'm a bear because I have chest hair. Where like Out of Hibernation is a lot of fun because it's a lot of different looking people, a lot of different bodies all being celebrated and all being able to be comfortable in a space that I feel like a lot of gay men wouldn't be super comfortable to be like shirtless and things like that. So I like that Out of Hibernation kind of gets back to the roots of what the bear movement's about.
Where would you fall? Would you be a summer bear or a winter bear based on your hotness?
I'm just very much Britney Spears, not a girl, not yet a woman. I'm just like, I exist in the middle of all of it, and
Same.
Right.
Yeah,
it often makes me. I feel like both groups think I'm the other. Like circuit queens think I'm a bear and bears think I'm a circuit queen because
Very
I exist
nice.
in that weird middle space.
Right.
And they're all mean to me.
Well, that's because they're all somehow attracted to you in a weird lowbrow way they can't figure out, and,
Right.
and it means something about themselves.
We'll go with that. That
and
makes
they
me
don't
feel
know
a
what
lot better.
No, it's the truth. They're like, I'm into this. I don't know why. It's out of the ordinary. So I will label them
Yeah.
in a way that makes me feel comfortable.
They're insecure.
Exactly.
Not me.
No. How could you be? Look at you.
So then on Saturday, I stopped by the Summer of SASS house, hung out with Kristen and Ethan and Mark, and we filmed the interview that we're going to show you later. But after that, I scooted next door for the opening day of the East End Market. It was super fun. There was a lot of friendly faces in there. Oriana was somewhere else in the moment I was there, but I'm sure she was there making everything run
I have
smoothly.
seen her there. Can
Oh,
speak.
yeah, of
I
course,
can attest
yeah.
to that. There's nothing that makes us happier at the SASS house than
Yeah.
the East End Market being open.
Oh, yeah, you were
again,
there. You got a
because
sandwich, too.
I did.
Yeah.
It is a go-to, particularly this time of year. Living right next door, it's
Yeah.
excited.
I did see a local celebrity, Madam Moderator, stop by with an orchid for Oriana to celebrate getting back open.
Oh, that's right. We spied that together.
Yeah.
We did. When he was
So
around town.
congratulations to Ori and her staff on getting back open. We're super happy to have you back again, and I'll probably be in soon for another sandwich. Then after that, I went but it was very P-Town focused. Me, Todd Flaherty, the filmmaker Todd Flaherty, Neil and Eric, friends of ours who spend a lot of time in P-Town and Boston, we all went out to Blend, which is a new-ish gay bar in Boston that I've only been to once or twice. And not that I want to drag the Boston gay scene, but I'm
Here
going to
comes.
drag the Boston gay scene. So I was there. I fully want to preface this by I was fully a part of the problem when I lived in Boston and was a Boston gay. But having been away for a few years, I feel like my mentality in gay dance spaces has changed. And I was there. I was with these few friends.
Your mentality and also your perspective.
Yeah.
Right? You have
100%.
now, you're coming from a different lens.
And so I'm on the dance floor with my friends, and I'm very much like looking around, smiling at people, trying to engage anyone because like I feel like that's why you go out, is to engage people.
Oh God, no, I don't do that. No.
Why one
I go out
goes
because if I
out.
don't, people get worried. But
Right,
like
then
it's
also that,
generally.
yeah. But I was like, this is fun. I want to meet someone or something, or chat with someone, make out with someone at a dance floor. That could be fun and nice, you know. But it was just nothing. I couldn't engage anyone. I couldn't catch eyes with anyone. And I was like, wow, Boston is so unfriendly. Then I get home. I'm there the next day. I'm on Scruff and Grindr, and I got no less than 5 messages being like, hey, did I see you at Blend last night? You're so handsome. And I was like,
Do you think this is specific to Boston, or do you think that, like, generally speaking, we have moved first point of contact out of person to person for a myriad of reasons?
Yes.
And have made it like, hey, like you don't like nowadays you don't show up at somebody's door, right? And just
Right,
knock on
you
it and
text,
be
you
like,
text
hey, you're like,
first.
hey, I'm in your neighborhood, can I come by?
Right.
Maybe that's like now translating to the dance floor.
I think that is true. I think it is all shifted, but I think there are specific scenes. Like, I don't feel that way in New York. I don't feel that way in Chicago. There are certain cities that I feel like are friendlier, and I feel like Boston is one of the least friendly cities.
Do you think that it gets? I wonder what the gay bus tourism looks like. Like if it's
Who's coming to Boston?
Well, because based on how often new people come in is how you train yourself to be.
I guess that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like knowing how to receive them. If it's just always going to be Frankie, you know.
Right, it's
you
like,
know.
oh, that guy again.
I'm so glad.
I guess that's true.
I'm so glad
I was new, fresh, and exciting.
I'm so glad you said you got messages afterwards, because I was gonna be like, oh God, we're gonna have to tell
gonna have to
Harrison
tell
that
Harrison
like no
he's
one thinks
hideous.
he's attractive. And
They're like, oh, they all saw you looking at them.
No,
and
yeah,
were
they
like,
saw
who
you.
is this creature trying to catch eyes with me? That is probable.
now, and this might be something I don't understand about male culture. At any point in time, did you approach someone, or is that not your role? I'm just curious. Did you
Approaching someone because of the idea, I feel like approaching someone, you're like, oh, hey, you're like kind of like, you make eyes, you smile, then you like dance towards the, you know what I mean? There's this whole thing, but because of the way everyone else was very much like focused on not I would have had to been like, hey,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
wasn't about to do that.
Yeah, no one opened the door for you to.
Right.
Slide
But
in.
it was a fun time, whatever. Monday night, I made it to Boston to see my sister for her 30th birthday.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's exciting.
It was pretty low key because she has about a month-old baby, or 2 months now, which was fun. I got to hang out with my new nephew, Nolan. It was fun. He ate and then immediately fell asleep, because that's what babies do. And I like had him.
Same, also.
I was like, right. Or maybe it's just what fishes do. Who knows? So I had him on my shoulder.
That's
He was
weird.
sleeping. And fishes as in my name, Fish. The fish family.
I was like, is that a tuna lesbian? I like for the life of me.
But had him on my shoulder for a little while. Then everyone ate dessert, and I couldn't because it was only baby. And my mom's like, oh, I'll take the baby so you can have dessert. And I was like, great. So I hand her the baby. And within maybe 30 seconds, he projectile vomited all over her.
Very
It was
nice.
fun, yeah. Also, babies do that. Yeah.
Same, also.
So
After the meal and the nap.
Right. A big happy birthday to my sister. Happy 30th. You're old now.
Happy birthday.
Not old, but like no longer.
yo, chill.
You're not old. You're no longer young.
No, that's not true. 30 is when you finally figure shit out.
Oh yeah, 30's
Like
great.
but you're still like kind of young. You're
I
just
mean-
old enough that you don't care what people older than you think anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the point where like there are no longer elders to respect.
Stop. I felt when I turned 30, I was like, oh my god, I'm the same as I was when I was 22. And then then when you like are around 22, you're like, oh no, I'm different.
Yeah, but you weren't.
Still an immature child. Okay, let's do some local news. I've got a couple stories. We talked about the Old Reliable getting new permitting for, I think it was higher level last week, but they revealed new plans, and they are enormous, in my opinion. So last summer, the person who owned the old Reliable property purchased the Soft as a Grape property, which was in front
Yes.
on Commercial Street.
Very
And,
familiar.
They unveiled plans to expand. Before, when it was just the old Reliable, they were going to have 31 hotel rooms, 4 condos, 1 restaurant and bar, some parking underneath, and they were going to renovate the pier to bring the pier back.
Right.
And then with this new property that they now own, they unveiled plans recently to now have 2 restaurants, 51 hotel rooms, 13 residential condos, and additional parking.
But
And
that
the pier.
is with the acquisition of a second building,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like,
I have no opinion, bad or good.
Yeah.
It is enormous.
yeah.
Which, like, I think we need more, we need more places for people to stay. Businesses are great to have in town. Two more restaurants is 2 more additional reasons to have people come to town. My biggest thing, from my perspective, is how are you going to staff all of this?
I mean, but I think that we're reaching a point where not our problem, their problem.
But I feel like a lot of workers go to the shiny new thing, and like it's going like to staff 51 hotel rooms, 2 restaurants is a lot of people. It's going to be five smaller restaurants losing their entire staff for these 2 new restaurants.
I think it's going to create a marketplace where employees who are worth anything and are good employees are going to start to raise the way employees are treated in town.
Oh yeah, me and Bob
Because
joked a few years ago that we're going to start a union called Bartenders with Housing.
It's called Unite. It's called Unite. I've already looked up the hospitality union in the state of Massachusetts. There is a union. There's a chapter not on Cape Cod, but there could be.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it is.
Right.
I feel like when stuff like this comes in, it's going to be like, okay, so if you're a skilled employee, you're going to be able to look around and say, how do I want to be treated?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are the things that go with it? So I don't know. I just don't feel like it's our job to worry about how they're going to make more millions.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they'll figure it out.
Right.
And if they, I don't know.
I always feel like business owners understand supply and demand when it comes to raising their prices and making more money, but then when it comes to supply and demand, when it comes to workers, they like all of a sudden can't understand.
Yeah, or we were talking the other day, the idea that, you know, people are like, oh, could never be open in December because I won't make money, but you don't prove it in July or August.
Right.
Like you're making crazy profits to offset maybe a small loss in November. And it's something that, were you talking about the dispensary that's?
Oh yeah, that's my next story. Let's jump right into that because obviously everything on this show is about housing and workers.
Right, right.
So in another local news story, there's been 5 cannabis dispensaries in Provincetown since it was made legal, and the first of those 5 is now closed. So Heel, it was a cannabis dispensary on Champaigner Road over by Stop and Shop. They opened, I think, a little over a year and a half ago. They returned their license to the Cannabis Commission on February 23rd. So this is how it all happened. At the end of January, Heel posted a sign on the door saying, "See you in April." Part of their community agreement with cannabis stores, and I'm not sure how it applies to other business, but you're only allowed to be closed. You have to be open year round. And what that means is you have to be open for 4 days a week for 4 hours a day. So 16 hours a week to maintain open year-round status. And you are allowed to close for 30 days, but no more than 30 days. So when the sign got put up, I think someone noticed it. Someone from the licensing board sent them a letter and we're like, hey, just so you know, you can't be closed for 2 months. Once you're closed for 30 days, we're gonna have to start fining you $100 to $300 a day for each day that you're closed beyond 30 days. So the leadership from that store then sent them a letter and they were like, we can't believe you're punishing us for that. It's because we don't have workers.
Right. I feel like if they're going to, so there are a lot of reasons why businesses get allowances in town, like gallons of water. Mm-hmm. That's a big one, right?
Yeah.
Restaurants you want more seats, you get gallons of water. And a lot of times the agreement made is that they need to stay open year round.
Right.
And tell me how many times that has not been enforced. Mm-hmm. A whole bunch.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of the mentality that like you cannot selectively enforce this year-round community commitment on one business if you're not going to do it on all the other businesses who, when they said, we want 40 more seats or we want this, we want that, give us our water allowance, and you say, yeah, okay, well, you got to stay open. I'm concerned that there's a selective prosecution here on a business who can't sustain year-round, that the town's not not really looking into a lot of businesses just because they're not cannabis.
Right.
That
I
had
agree.
said they would be open year round, and they're not. Right.
Yeah. My thing about this is, so they said they had no store manager, assistant manager, or shift lead positions, and I don't want to trivialize the difficulties of running a year-round business in Provincetown or a business at all in Provincetown. It's a very unique place, and it has its own challenges. But to be open for 4 hours a day for 4 days a week, their leadership staff has 4 people on it.
Right.
And it's most of the businesses that I frequent in this town, I go in and the owner's there.
Right.
Like you come in here and Chris are on their laptops doing invoices and stuff, or they're behind the bar pouring beers. You go to the Red Inn and Sean and Philip are there. You go to the Crown and Anchor, Jonathan's running around, and it's just running around. Right. So it's
In a very professional manner.
right. It's just confusing to
Sauntering.
me why one of these 4 people couldn't work 16 hours a week. And they literally said no one wants to work. Well, it seems like the 4 people who don't want to work the most are you.
I don't know what the ownership structure, right? Because I mean, this could be a thing where the town is self-regulating, and because the owners don't live here and can't do that, then maybe is
Maybe
it a
that
corporate
is-
entity? Yeah, maybe
Right.
this is
I don't-
part of our.
I think it's
purge
a
of,
very small corporation. You know, I think I got both of these details for both of these stories from the Protestant Independent. I think Paul Benson wrote a few of these articles, but one thing they did say is that they have a couple other stores and a growery in Massachusetts. A growery? No.
I think so.
Growery.
Nursery.
Yeah. If it's not a growery, it is now.
It is now.
I just never liked the whole it's because no one wants to work.
Now, will that town license be up for grabs then?
I don't know.
Change plan. Summer of SASS is doing something different. We're gonna,
No, because we still have another one yet to open on Champaign.
but that doesn't change the amount of permits that were allowed for town, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
So if someone hands their license back in, does that mean that someone else can come and scoop it and try something else?
I'm sure at some point.
I really thought, honestly, I thought the Champaign or having a parking spot was going to be
Right.
a solid business move, but
Yeah. And also to drive onto Commercial Street. If you're coming from a different area or driving, being on Commercial Street is a little.
yeah, no,
feel like
I
people
ended up
find it
going to
more
Heel in
challenging.
summer all the time because I didn't feel like dealing with Commercial Street.
Right, I hear you. Okay, let's move to some other global national news.
Wow, worldly.
So worldly.
Worldly.
So I was obsessed with the Megan movie this past few months.
Great movie.
Yeah, the trailer came out. I was obsessed. I saw it the weekend it came out. It was tons of fun. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It's campy. It's fun. It's not specifically queer, but it's
It's
for,
just campy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's campy. It's for the gays. But Megan has found her next venture. She is the new face of Marc Jacobs' Heaven brand.
I think it's fantastic. It's a great idea.
I think we have a picture. So over the weekend, they unveiled Megan's photo spread for the Marc Jacobs Heaven brand. Heaven is Marc Jacobs' line that's aimed at teens. It kind of has a grungy Y2K glamour aesthetic. The line has been praised as a masterclass in Gen Z marketing, and I feel like they're living up to that with
Here we
this.
go. Young women. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't. All right, so which do you prefer? Do you prefer Megan or isn't Lenny Kravitz now Yves Saint Laurent? Is this? Did anybody else hear this?
Oh no, but I mean,
I
that
heard that
sounds
this
right.
was that
I mean,
was my
Megan.
new. You're a Megan person.
yeah.
All right. I just thought these were two very bold brand, not bold, but like cool brand moves. you
Yeah.
know?
Other people who've modeled for this line are Winona Ryder, Charlie XCX, my fave, Pam Anderson, also one of my faves, and Doja Cat.
Yeah, no, it fits
Yeah.
the brand. It
Oh,
makes,
yeah,
it makes
yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we're talking about it now. I haven't talked about any of those other people until
Which
then.
one
So,
eats more?
Doja seems like she.
Can I
eats.
tell you that when you say that, it doesn't mean what it means? Like, it's so weird. I don't know why, but you said it, and I was like, why is he worried about their diet? And I live around Ethan all the time, who says eats, and I know what it means when he says it, but when you say it, I'm like, food? I don't know why.
Oh, we meant eats.
You meant eats, right?
Oh. She
oh, wait,
ate.
you meant food?
Yeah.
Oh,
The AI or the supermodel? Which one eats more?
I get it.
you're talking about dysmorphia. Okay, I got it. All right.
In another story, so I don't know if you're on TikTok. We're friends
Like
on TikTok.
casually.
Okay.
Katie's like, do it more. This is what comedians do. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah.
But one of the people that I followed on TikTok over the last year is a person named Dylan Mulvaney.
Yes.
So she blew up on TikTok because basically she came out as trans on TikTok and was like, I'm gonna document my experiences as a trans woman on TikTok. And she started the series of, basically it was like days of girlhood. She's like, day 1 of being a girl, day 5 of being a girl, and chronicles kind of her experiences, what she learns, the difficulties, the challenges, and she does it with such a great energy. She's always kind, always friendly, always smiling. She's really incredible. And I've followed her since the beginning, and it's been really incredible. But she had a really big celebration this past week. It was 1 year of being a girl. She celebrated it with an 80-minute variety show at the Rainbow Room in New York called Dylan Mulvaney 365th Day. It was a fundraiser for the Trevor Project. One of the things that stuck out to me over the past year is she got a lot of criticism because Tampax sponsored her.
Interesting.
Yeah. So basically,
Ooh.
Tampax sent her a bunch of product, and people ate. Like a lot of people came for her, being like, "Why is this trans woman being sponsored by Tampax?"
Yeah.
And a lot of people found it as an inappropriate way of like. A lot of people said she was like cosplaying as a girl or appropriating womanhood. And she responded and was like, the thing is like part of womanhood and like girl code is like being in a bathroom, needing a tampon, and asking someone else for it if they have one. And she just wanted to, if she was gonna be in women's restrooms, to be able to offer that to women. I figured.
No, I mean, listen, I look like this, so people make a lot of assumptions about my opinions about trans women, and people throw turf around, people whatever. I think my biggest thing is like, we're so not having real discussions about what any of this is because we have so many trigger words around. If you say anything contradictory, you're a phobe in some way, and that's, there is something to me where I'm like, if you're gonna go. I like trans women or women, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not giving women, cis-born people with vaginas, the option to be like, hey, I've spent my whole life losing 4 days a month, like literally becoming a different person.
Right.
And that's because of my anatomy. And I could see how some people with vaginas would be like, hey. If you're not cramping and bleeding through your sheets in the middle of the night, put the fucking tampon down.
I hear ya.
Right? Like, so however, and I also think that to say that like women in the bathroom, a consummate experience is asking for a tampon, that's a consummate experience for femme women. And that is a very, very narrow definition of what a woman is a femme woman. And it's something that I run into when I have worked with trans women who maybe grow up in rural areas. They see me and I'm not woman enough for them, which is a whole nother thing based around presentation. So like, I have the commercial. I think it's great. I don't think it really hurts anybody, but I think also open up the discussion of what it means to actually have your period, because legally in Florida pretty soon girls won't even get to talk about it. So we're just reaching a point where I'm like, okay, that's cute and all, but will you help forward the fact that menstruation is a fucking bitch? It's a terrible thing to deal with, and also then carry that into menopause, because I'm creeping up on it. We're gonna have to talk.
on Kristen's next guest host of Wake Up.
No, I mean, it's just, it's this thing where like there's so much shame around it, and it's just a thing that happens naturally, and it's a thing that happens naturally to make all these babies that they want us to keep. Like, we should be able to talk about it more than just, should a trans woman hold a tampon? Yeah, of course.
Right.
But like, can we then yes and it?
Yeah, like
and
get
have
to
more
the
of a
bigger
discussion.
issues, the issues that are truly affecting people's lives.
And the whys, like why, not just like, oh, this lesbian doesn't think I should. No, you should have that, but know that not every woman wants that experience. And when you say that, you imply that we all want to
I hear that.
borrow a tampon under the stall. We could just make them free in the bathrooms, like condoms, whatever. But okay,
yeah.
because that's where I'm like, well, just make them available.
Yeah. Speaking of condoms,
Okay.
I guess not speaking of condoms. So PrEP has been available for almost a decade now, and they're constantly trying to upgrade it, make it more usable, make it easier for people to protect themselves against HIV. And it began as a pill, and then as of late, they've introduced a ring, which I hadn't heard of until this article, and I don't quite understand. But they also have a once a month injectable PrEP that is now getting to the point where it's being used. And also we have the 2-on-1 method, which is you don't have to take it every day. You take it 2 pills 2 hours before a potential exposure, and then 1 pill for the next 2 days.
That sounds like I read that, and I obviously don't know anything about this, but that sounds like a lot of work. Like if that feels like more like to remember to take,
right,
to time it out and to know, like, is that a good thing?
There are people who like taking it every day, but there are people who feel like their potential exposure is more minimal than that. Like people who are having risky sexual behaviors much less frequently, and they're like, wow, I went through this whole bottle and didn't, you know what I mean? 30 days, 30 pills, and I like still haven't needed to have that protection. So I feel, and especially because there is talk of potential it affecting your bone density, kidneys.
That's what I was going to ask.
So,
is it doing other things?
Yeah, so people can medicate this way and still protect themselves. And I kind of think that like 2 and then wait 2 hours, like that could be fun.
I mean, yeah, you can play that.
You know what I mean?
Something. Yeah,
like take your 2 pills and then be like, what are we gonna do for 2 hours? I don't know. I think that could be fun.
But I hope it's like a loose 2 hours, because I feel like someone's gonna crack at 1:55.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's probably a loose 2 hours. But so there is a new, and you're gonna love this, a new method in the works. They just began. They did a small human study. They've done non-human primates, and it worked. So this is going to be a fast dissolving suppository.
Why? What about me?
No, I just. So it can.
There's one thing I heard about Becker. Those suppositories are not quick enough for her. If we could just pick up the pace.
I didn't mean love it as in actually love it. I meant like love it as like, wow,
okay.
You're gonna
all right.
think this is
I
wild.
love it for you.
Thank you. So it can be inserted into the rectum or vagina, and it dissolves quickly, and it's just that 1 pill. You don't have to do it for the 2 days after.
But are they like, all right, I have so many questions. Are like suppositories are a very specific shape and size. Is it a similar?
They didn't get into the
okay,
details
all right.
of the shape and size, but they did do a study with 23 HIV negative participants. 6 were assigned female at birth, which is actually rare with studies of PrEP. Like if you look at the poster, like you see posters all over town. We have one in the restroom here at the Provincetown Brewing Company, and it's like all this information about it, and it's like this hasn't been tested for women.
Wow.
Right. So I think it is great, especially for this, that they are.
I did talk to a doctor, and I have no opinion behind this. It was a factual statement where he was just like, if you don't have AIDS in the gay community, your scientific research and medical study has been underserved. Because like that, so much of our funding went, and for good reason, went to this cause that for 30 years, other things got kind of pushed aside.
Oh, right.
So like lesbian health, trans health, like kind of everything else, and for good reason. But now, when you say something like that, I'm like, why aren't we testing women?
Totally.
Or why don't we know if we can use this?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that this study is expanding a little, and I'm sure they've done studies with women, but not all of them do, which is not super great. Okay, we're gonna talk about the Oscars real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll move along.
I love it.
So did you watch the Oscars?
No.
That's okay. I don't typically watch the Oscars, and I have found that the only way I can enjoy award shows is watching them in a room full of queer people.
Yes.
That's
no,
the
I
only
do
way we can
enjoy
do
that.
it.
And there was a thing at the Crown,
Yeah.
but I was kind of post-COVID recovering.
Oh, right.
I hadn't had a lot of energy that week.
And I also know a lot of people who took a break to watch The Last of Us finale. So which was fun and great if you haven't watched that. But here are a few of my takeaways. So the big takeaway is that Everything Everywhere All at Once won
Yes, I did see
everything.
that.
They won so many awards, which I think is incredible. It was the first time a woman of Asian descent won the Best Actress. Oscar, Everything Everywhere All at Once won 3 out of the 4 big acting categories. 3 out of the 4 big acting categories were also straight people playing queer people. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying, like, when's the last time a gay person won an Oscar?
I mean, I'm like still on like, I feel like I've had that debate before, so now I'm just like, why couldn't a fat person play a fat person?
No, I said the same thing.
Like, I'm kind of like,
I was kind of bummed when they won for hairstyle. The Whale won for hairstyling and makeup, and they were like, "Oh my god, a fat suit! Let's give him an award!" And I'm just like, ugh.
I just feel like if oh my god, why can't I think of the comedian who got super buff?
Oh, I was gonna say.
I'm just saying if
Jiminy Glick.
No, Kumail. I think if you're gonna take on a role. And if I want to be Wonder Woman next year, I have to go to the gym and I have to become Wonder Woman. I'm not saying that Brandon Fraser shouldn't play that role, but gain every fucking pound. Gain 500 pounds.
Do the Christian Bale.
Honestly, like live that life. If you have to get super buff, then you have to also.
Are you saying if you're gonna play like a gay man, you should suck a dick?
Absolutely. 100%.
I'm there for it.
100%. I mean, how else would you know? I would never pretend to know what it's like to suck a dick. Ever. I would never. I would be terrible at it.
Right.
I mean, I guess only if you want to be good at it. Like,
Right,
if you want to be a
right,
good actor,
right.
then you should do that.
Another thing I wanted to talk about was the in memoriam section. So John Travolta introed it, and he got a little emotional while introing the scene, and a lot of people that I was in the room with were like, "Oh, it's because Olivia Newton-John passed away." But I think a lot of people forget is he also did a lot of movies with Kirstie Alley, who also passed away this year.
Yes. Look Who's Talking.
Which brought up Look Who's Talking, and everyone in the room, not many people in the room had remembered it. Look Who's Talking was Kirstie Alley and John Travolta raising a baby who you could hear the inner monologue, and it was voiced by Bruce Willis. Then there's Look Who's Talking 2, which the baby, Bruce Willis, and then Roseanne was like the new girl baby.
Yes.
Then Look Who's Talking Now, which is they introduced 2 dogs, and the dogs are voiced by Danny DeVito and, Diane Keaton, which is like, we need a marathon.
I would also like to say, I did a little research. The families of the deceased must request their presence in the in memoriam.
Oh, that's interesting. Because what I was about to say next was they did leave a lot of, there was talk of leaving people out. Leslie Jordan was left out, Anne Heche was left out, Paul Sorvino was left out.
So their family's fucked up, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. But it was just funny because Mira Sorvino tweeted, "It's baffling beyond belief that my beloved father and many other amazing, brilliant departed actors were left out. The Oscars forgot about Paul Sorvino, but the rest of us never will."
Oh, maybe I read that wrong. No, I looked it up because I was like, this feels weird. Like, it feels like all these people wouldn't have been forgotten.
Right.
That, like, somebody didn't sign the release on the email or something.
Interesting. Okay, 2 more points about the Oscars and then we're moving along. Ruth E. Carter became the first black woman to win multiple Oscars. She's won 2 Oscars for costuming, both for Black Panther films. She started her speech by saying "nice to see you again," which I thought was a very subtle shade.
Yes.
And then also there was controversy amongst cutting off the speeches. So producer Ganit Monga and director Kartiki Gonzalez won for The Elephant Whispers for Best Documentary Short. Kartiki spoke for 43 seconds, and then when Mongo got up to the mic, was immediately cut off. She tried to continue speaking.
What was the award?
Best Documentary Short. Then the next award, given by the exact same
It was a short.
I'm going to kill you. The next award was given by the same presenters.
You're about to get cut off.
The next awards were given by the same presenters. And the 2 white British men got up. The first one spoke for longer than the first woman, and then the second man was allowed to continue speaking.
Okay, but do we go, oh, fuck the Oscars, or we go, who was making the call in the booth?
It was probably one guy.
It was one guy in the booth. And then it's like, all right, let's talk to that guy in the booth about, I don't know, I just feel like stuff like this, they're like, oh my God, can you believe it? Like, yeah, the guy in the booth's probably union. He's probably been there for 30 years.
Right.
He probably sounds like your grandpa.
He's stressed out because he's stage
and he's got some
managing.
latent shit we need to work on, so let's retire him.
Yeah. But in a post-show interview, she was able to give the speech. She said, "This is the first Oscar for any Indian production, and 2 women here won this. Indians, this is for you." Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That was all chaos, but
I got it.
Wait, let me start talking so that we have to cut me off, and then it'll be a crisis. Did you hear the Wake Up Boys just muted that lesbian?
Oh my God. Ann Hutchinson is back with the weather segment. Take it away, Ann.
Hello, Bob and Harrison. It's me, Ann Hutchinson, your Wake Up in Provincetown weather correspondent, and I have been busy trying to find the weather out here for you, but it's kind of hard, you know? It's kind of like trying to find the pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. You know, it's not even St. Patrick's Day. We filmed this a day early, but then I thought, my goodness, if it's like finding the pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, I know exactly where to go to get help finding the weather, because in rainbow-filled Provincetown, there's a ship that knows the location of a hoard of gold. The Vast Explorer. There she is. If we're going to find help with the weather, it's going to be somewhere in the air right here, because in 1984, the predecessor to this ship found what has been estimated to be $400 million of pirate loot off the coast of Wellfleet. Yes, $400 million. That's about a fifth of the Silicon Valley bank collapse or of Kim Kardashian. I mean, choose your own apocalyptic Golden State adventure. I'm not here to help you with that. I'm here to help you find the weather. And I may not have reported it, but we all know that there's been some wacky weather out in the Golden State recently. What you might not know is that that pirate loot was on the bottom of the ocean floor because the pirate ship Widder came in contact with a nor'easter in April of 1717. Now, I'm not sure much more of a favorable future could be had for that treasure when you realize that a lot of it was from the pre-pirate days of the Widder being an enslaving ship. Anyways, my point is this: whether it's a nor'easter or an atmospheric river or a rainbow, where there is coin, there's obviously weather. So I am going to find the weather for you today, because we're going to do a little bit of a wishing well situation. We're just going to wish for the weather to appear penny by penny. So here we go. Oh, there we go. Don't worry, this is not littering. This is actually helping with inflation. Or if you don't like that, you can see it as me tipping the sharks for the tours they're apparently giving out here. You know, keep Abe honest. All I'm going to say is if he wanted a biting tour, he could have taken mine. Back to you, Bob and Harrison.
Now we've got an incredible performance for you today by the incomparable birthday girl herself. It's Miss Qya Cristál. Take it away.
Hey, B-Town. Glad to be back home, honey. So nice. Good morning, Provincetown. Some people live for
Good morning, everyone. We are at the new Summer of SASS house. They recently got a renovation. They've been in it for just a few months. Renovation just wrapped up. And we're gonna sit down with Ethan and take a peek at the new house. So let's go. We're sitting down with Ethan right now. We're in the Summer of SASS house. Thanks for sitting down with us today, Ethan.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So Ethan's our trusty cameraman. He's usually behind the camera for every episode, so it's very exciting to get him in front of the camera.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, exactly, right? So Ethan came to town through the Summer of SASS program. You've been here for a little bit of time. How long have you been here?
I've been here since May of 2021, so about a year and a half now.
Nice. 2 summers, 1.5 winters.
Two full summers, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
So where did you come here from?
Yeah, I came here from Defiance, Ohio. I was born and raised mostly in Cleveland. I moved to Defiance when I was like 15. It was a very like rural area in Ohio, and it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
So I discovered SASS by accident, pretty much.
No way. How did you come across
it? Yeah, so I discovered SASS by basically ranting in like a Facebook group, and a friend of Kristen's happened to be in that group as well.
Oh, awesome.
And he told me that he thinks he knows about like a group of people that can help me out, and he referred me to Kristen, and we started talking, and then next summer I was here, and I'm still here.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when you arrived in Provincetown, what are the things that kind of like maybe caught you off guard, or you were shocked by, or happily surprised by, like the energy, the vibe? What are the things you kind of noticed?
I think, well, the first thing that probably caught me off guard was probably just how beautiful it was, because I always see it on like Google Images and stuff. But I remember the first like drive through of the town, and I was like, wow, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
And then I think the second thing was probably that like I don't think I'd ever in my life seen like same-sex couples like hold hands publicly until moving here, and I remember like calling that out. I was like, wow, I've never seen that before.
Yeah. Was that nice to see, or because sometimes, like I grew up in a place where it like you, it was not okay to do those kind of things. So sometimes when I first started experiencing it, like made me a little uncomfortable because I was like, oh, they're not supposed to do
that. No, it didn't make me feel that. I thought it was a nice thing to see. It made me happy. I think the only thing, my first summer here was, it was like rough because I wasn't used to an area that was so lively. So I think it was a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it's weird to walk out your door and be like, oh wow, there's people everywhere.
I feel like sometimes I don't have like that traditional, like, I came to Provincetown, like, I fell in love story.
Right.
Like, I was a little overwhelmed when I first came here.
Course.
But what made me actually appreciate this town more was when I went home that September, and I stayed there for about a week, and then I was like, you know what? I actually see why I left. So I came back, and I've been here ever since, and I feel like that really helped me get a better perspective of just the beauty of this place and how lucky I am to be here.
Yeah, we're all kind of lucky to be here.
We are.
It's pretty magical.
It is. It's like at the end of the year.
The hardest part about being here, though, is housing.
Yes.
Yes. Where, not specifically where, but like, how was your housing when you first got here?
Yeah, honestly, I feel very fortunate because I feel like my housing situation has always been something that I've managed to like get lucky on. When I first moved here, I had a little cottage all the way on the east end that SASS was able to secure me. And then once that expired and I came back to town, I was living in the canteen's housing.
Oh, great.
I lived there for like almost a year. So yeah, I've always been pretty lucky.
Yeah.
But then, as you know, we ended up getting all this.
This is incredible. How has it been like to move into this house? And also, you've lived here through all the changes.
I have.
Yeah. How has that all been?
It's been an experience for sure. I just feel really fortunate to be here because living in town, like there will be people who are like looking for housing or they're losing their housing and they're not as fortunate. And I think more than anything, it just puts into perspective like how lucky I am. But the house itself is like, it's beautiful. I remember the first time I got to like take a look at this place, and I was like, oh my god, like it's a marvel for sure.
Yeah, well, I just walked in for the first time since the renovation.
Yeah.
I did the same thing again. I had seen it before when it was other iterations of businesses and things that were here, but to walk in and to see what they've done with the place is incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it very much, I feel like they did a good job capturing the spirit of what Kristen has created, and all of the people who have come here through SASS have brought to town. It's beautiful, it's bright, it's lively.
It is. I think that's one thing that's so amazing about the renovation is that, like, because this house is, you know, for a younger demographic, they're able to make it really like colorful and lively, and there's even this amazing mural back here by Paul Rizzo.
The lovely Paul Rizzo.
But yeah, they did an amazing job. I love all the like the little things. Like it's just super cool.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I love there's so many unique choices they made when renovating it that I think is lovely. Yeah. Not to put you on the spot, but like, what are your plans for the future? Are you gonna stay in Provincetown for a little while longer? Are you gonna go somewhere else? What's the plan?
You know, I feel like every season here I come to a point where I'm like, what am I gonna do in the future? Like, I'll be like, what am I gonna do next season? Am I gonna be here? All I can really tell people for now is that I'm not the most sure. I would love to stay here longer. I know that I will be here for this season and then probably another off season. And after that's a little bit up in arms, but the future's unpredictable, so only time will tell.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I'll see you behind the camera soon.
Sounds good.
That was so much fun chit-chatting with Ethan. Ethan's our trusty cameraman. He's always here every Friday morning. Of course, he's not here today, but yeah, it was so fun sitting down with him. I'm so proud of him.
He's really killed it.
Yeah.
Like, of all the SASS kids, he's probably been, he's our star.
Yeah. And that's
over the years.
A lot, obviously most of it goes to him, but a little bit goes to you. You did some of that.
You know, most of it goes to them.
Yeah, totally.
You know, if I just try to not be a shit person around them. That's really my job. Try to be a decent person.
I wouldn't be able to, you know.
I think I would though. You know?
Yeah, right.
You can.
For me, hi, hello.
That's right. Miss Kai's gonna join the board.
Yeah.
Of Summer of SASS.
Oh no way.
Yeah, we said. Yeah, no.
I
She
love
said
that.
yes. We were just talking about it. So now we just have to vote.
Thank you so much for an incredible performance.
I always have a fun time here.
Yeah.
I always have a fun time. It's so cute. I love it.
I'm always impressed with the look and the sound at 9 a.m.
Honey, when I tell you I got up at 5:30 this morning, 5:30. But wasn't it worth it, kids?
It really it was.
I'm so thankful.
It was worth it for us. We loved, we enjoyed. It was incredible.
And it's always a fun time to do the show.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Welcome back to Provincetown. We've missed you so much. I chatted with you right before the new year. I'm like, oh, you got to come on the show soon. And you're like, I'm gone.
Yeah, it was a very interesting experience to go. So for those of you who don't know, a couple of my sisters and I got the experience of a lifetime to go to Palm Springs, California to do shows out there. And for someone like me who was born in Texas and raised in Missouri, never been further west than probably like Oklahoma. So I was like, so I was like, let's make sure that I should take the opportunity. And that's what I decided to do.
Yeah, Provincetown is amazing, but being one of the most amazing parts about Provincetown is being able to go somewhere else. Yeah.
Because we have that time off, you know.
Was it your first time in Palm Springs at all?
No, my second time.
Cute.
The first time I went was for Palm Springs Pride back in November. And then we came back and decided to do a winter season out there and see how it would go.
Yeah. How was performing in Palm Springs?
I gotta tell you, first of all, shout out to my girls, Amber, Miranda, Rachel. Shout out to my guys, Andrew, John, Joe, and Justin. They were 6 New York performers that were absolutely incredible. Mind you, they're all like between the ages of like 21 and maybe 23, and then maybe there were a couple that were like 27.
Flexible.
Yeah, flexible. They had the
flexible.
cardio stamina. It was wild. But you know what? They pushed us as the queens that were coming in to take the time to work out, be healthy, and keep up with the choreography that wonderful Joe was able to create for us. It was incredible. It's nice.
How did Palm Springs audiences respond to the P-Town Queens?
It was, now granted, we were very nervous because we were like, all right, we're the new girls in town and we are from the opposite coast. But fortunately, I didn't realize this, but there's a lot of Provincetown people that
Oh, yeah.
have houses and like vacation in Palm Springs.
Mm-hmm.
So the weeks that we were doing shows, we were like, oh my God, hey girl, how you doing? Like, what's going on?
I love that.
And they brought their friends to come see us. And before we knew it, we were selling out to like 200 people.
That's incredible.
For Sunday service with Delta Miles and Roxy Pop. Yes. It was so much fun. And to be honest, to have the show done with 6 other talented singer, dancer, actors, Sunday service turned into like the sister act too. I mean, it was
Love
crazy.
that.
Fun.
That's incredible. What did you think of Palm Springs as a whole? The scenery, the scene?
I didn't know that mountains existed out in Palm Springs.
Oh yeah,
So-
and they're like there.
Yeah,
they're right there.
They're like all around. So I got there, and one of the strangest things that I witnessed was the moment the sun dips behind the mountains, it's cold.
And it's early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was nice. Also, the people were so friendly. So many like skater boys with their nails painted and long hair.
That does it for you?
I don't know what you mean. No. So I had fun.
I love that. Well, we're super happy to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Back home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Already getting shows together, rehearsal schedules.
Yeah, what do we got coming?
The Crown and Anchor is going to be one of my big ventures for the season. The club, as always, is going to be one of my big ventures for the season. And I think I'm going to take this season, crazy as it is, to designate one day off.
Wow, I think you deserve it.
Yeah, just one.
Charge double and take some
It's
time off.
Actually, kind of a thing, like, so Summer of SASS, like, we don't let them work 7 days a week. So as a board member, you will be morally unable to
one
work
day.
yourself to
Okay,
death.
well, you heard
so
that? You heard that?
just because we walk the walk, so now Miss Qya is now going to dedicate some time to self and community.
For the first time in 10 years, to my own body, my own self, and my own mental health, because you know, it is one thing. It's nice to come in and be like, oh, there's gigs everywhere. It's great.
Yeah.
But I've learned over the past couple years, especially because of COVID, just because you can say yes to everything doesn't mean you should.
100%.
And there is, through the work of local business people, this extension of what the season is. So you
Yes.
don't have to just hold it together for 4 months. Now you got to hold it together through New Year's, right? And so that's a lot. It's intensity for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, show at the. Are you going to do your one-woman show again?
Yes, it's called Intergalactic Disco.
Stop! That sounds
So
amazing.
excited! It's going to include like the likes of Sylvester and Donna Summer with. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's this whole like nouveau disco thing going on with like Doja Cat and Dua Lipa and Lizzo and Beyonce.
Beyonce,
so
right.
like my show is going to combine those two things together and create this sort of like epic, super campy, like it's not going to be Qya, it's going to be like the disco queen.
Works.
And I've been
Qya
studying,
is the disco queen.
I am, but I've been studying people like Varla Jean Merman and Jackie Beat and Dina Martino, who have, especially over the past few years, just really been studying how they dive into a character that's not themselves, and that's what I want to do for this season. I'm also working with Bruce Bates as a costume designer. I've got my first costume designer! I said, yeah!
Well deserved.
And so we've been working together since practically December to get costumes together, lighting together, sound together.
Wow.
The pre-show music, the post-show music. It's the first show that I've ever attempted to do that is a fully realized production, and I'm so excited.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. What have we got going on today for your birthday?
Oh, well, my birthday, well, I'm doing this right now, yes. Tonight, I'll be going out to the Crown and Anchor to do the Drag Race viewing party to see what's going on with the queens.
Work.
And then we have a whole show planned of me and my friends coming out to the Crown and Anchor to do about an hour's worth of fun times, good music, lip syncing, live singing. We're including Mackenzie, Austin, Roxy Pops, Delta Miles, a few other people that are going to be a surprise for you.
Work.
Cute.
And I think I'm going to take the back seat this time because 30 was like my show where I had like Night of 1,000 Qyas and everyone did a number inspired by me. But for this one, I just kind of want to sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. Enjoy your birthday.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be there.
Yeah.
That's the show for today. Sorry for running a little over, and thanks for still being here. But it was so fun. I couldn't stop.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
glad to be here.
Thank you to all our viewers. Thank you to our brand new sponsors. We have the Boat Slip, the Provincetown Business Guild, and also Shipwreck at the Brass Key.
Yes. Yes. Come on,
Awesome.
sponsors.
Yeah, right? We love them. Yeah. Thanks for waking up in Provincetown, wherever you are. We'll see you next Friday. Why are you shaking your head?
Good morning, everybody.